Meta still pays their new grad software engineers $200K, and here's how to get an offer. First, a little bit of proof. I have gotten offers from Amazon and Google. Here are the offer letters for both of them. And as we can see over here, if you're in the Bay, if you're in Seattle, if you're in New York City, even if you're in LA, the salaries are still absolutely insane at Meta. So I know what you're doing right now. You're just going and applying on this new grad simplified GitHub repo, but it's not working. You're barely getting any interviews at all. There has to be a better strategy, especially if you're trying to get into these big tech companies. And there's really two strategies I'm going to go over in this video. The first is cold emailing recruiters. And before you click off of the video, I'm going to actually give you a way to cold email the recruiters that you haven't heard about before, how to actually find their email addresses, and what to even say in the email so that you really stand out. And the next thing I'm going to go over is the fully optimized resume template. This is like the final resume template you're ever going to need. It's the same one that got me into Amazon and Google. Again, here's the offer letters. I'm not trying to sell you a course here. I'm really just trying to give you some valuable advice. So with the cold email, I have this full 13-page guide on everything you need to know about cold email. Again, completely free, not trying to sell you anything here. If you want it, just leave a comment. And first things first, let's get into the actual template. Like, what do you actually say in the emails when you're reaching out to these recruiters? And this is going to be for new grad primarily. So you can say, hey, I noticed you recruit for engineering at Meta, and I'm especially interested in whatever, back-end roles, right? I'm a new grad from, whatever school you went to, seeking an early career software engineering role. And then what you want to do is you want to drop the two most impressive bullet points on your resume. Just two of them. Don't do any more than that. Two is the golden number that I found to work best with cold email. And then once we get into the resume section, I'll go over how to actually pick those two bullet points. And what you say is, hey, if you're the right contact, just tell me what the best posting to apply to even is, or if you're even the right recruiter for these roles. I've attached the resume. Make sure it's a PDF. Thank you so much. Keep it super simple. Now you might be wondering, how do you actually find the recruiter emails? So what you go ahead and do is you go to Meta's LinkedIn page, right? Pretty standard. You go to people and you type in something like early talent or university recruiter, something like that. And we find our boy Chris Clark over here. There's a bunch of early talent recruiters at Meta. I'm just going to pick him. And so we pull up his LinkedIn profile over here. And there's this extension. There's this free Chrome extension called Apollo. And you can go to the Chrome Web Store and download Apollo. It's completely free. And when you download the extension, you're going to get this button pop up on any website that you're on, and it will show you everybody's email address, which is absolutely insane. I don't even know how this works, but it does work, and it literally got me into Amazon and Google by cold emailing recruiters. So I know this works. And you get their work email, his Meta email, and his personal email. Don't email a recruiter's personal email. That's a bit of a violation of their privacy, but work email, totally fair game. And you just use the template over here, and trust me, I know this sounds simple, but right now what you're doing is probably just applying to everything on this simplified GitHub repo, maybe trying to get a referral wherever you can, if you have any like friends or upperclassmen that you know. But if you can just take the time to email one or two recruiters at every single company, after every single application that you submit, it will make a huge difference. Again, if you want the cold email guide, drop a comment. You use LinkedIn to find the recruiters, and then you use this handy extension over here to grab their emails. But, cold email is not going to work if your resume sucks. Your resume has to be fully dialed in for cold email to work. And the reason for that is because you say, hey, we're attaching the resume in the email. And so the recruiters are going to take a quick skim over your resume to see whether or not you're even worth responding to. And optimizing your resume for ATS is actually different than optimizing your resume for the eyes of a recruiter. Those are two different things to optimize for. And with cold email, we need to optimize your resume for the eyes of a recruiter. So let's get into the resume template that got me into Amazon and Google. The first thing you're going to notice here is that this keyword section is dense AF. Dude, you need way more keywords on your resume than you probably think. If you check your resume right now, you probably have a good amount, but not this many. You need to make this section as dense as possible with as many tools and technologies as possible. A, for ATS, and B, because recruiters will skim that section for certain keywords as well. And a lot of people are afraid to do this because they're like, what if I get asked about this in an interview, and what if I don't know it? Stop worrying about that. Just put it on your resume, get the interview, and figure out the rest once you actually get an interview. Once you actually have an interview coming up, then you can cram and learn all these technologies. At least that's what I recommend, and it's what got me into Amazon and Google. I will preface that with one disclaimer. Obviously, I didn't put technologies that I straight up had never heard of. I did make sure I had some kind of basic familiarity with it before I put it on my resume. The next thing that really, really matters that recruiters really care about is the titles of your roles. So some people have full stack developer, back-end engineer, research intern, but that's a huge mistake. You got to make sure all your titles just say software engineer, software engineer, software engineer. And the reason recruiters really value that is because it makes your work experience look more cohesive. It tells a story. It looks like you've been building up this track record working in the same role year after year after year, even if they were just internships. And trust me, I know this sounds stupid because full stack developer, backend engineer, whatever. It's all the same thing. It's all under the umbrella of software engineering, right? But for recruiters, I've literally talked to recruiters about this, recruiters at Amazon and Google, and they have literally said that they would prefer if everything just said software engineer. It makes their life easier and it makes you seem more consistent and cohesive. It's streamlined in terms of your work history. So just change everything to software engineer, and just that one small thing will make a difference. And then the next thing you need is you need to have this quantitative impact in metrics, percentages, numbers in every single bullet point on your resume. Okay, you can skip it in a couple of them. You can see these 2 bullet points don't have it, but you should have it in 80% of the bullet points on your resume. And stuff like improved search accuracy by 20%, system throughput by 30%, end-to-end response accuracy by 30%. You gotta have way more metrics on your resume than what you probably have right now. And you might be wondering, well, how do I even come up with this stuff, right? It's okay to make it up. It's okay to just put a rough estimate, even if you don't know the exact percentage. Just ballpark it and hope for the best, and just make sure it's a reasonable number that you could defend if you were ever asked about it. Again, this is what the people that are getting into Amazon and Google are doing. And I know this because I've spoken to hundreds and hundreds of other students, and this is what everybody's doing, the people that are getting into FANG in 2026. Again, a lot of people are afraid to do this because they don't know the exact percentage or metric of the impact of their work, but it's totally fine to just give a rough estimate as long as it's reasonable and that you can defend it in an interview. Don't put anything outrageous on your resume. I'm not recommending that. And again, right now what you're doing is you're just applying on the Simplify repo, trying to get referrals, hoping for the best. But if you cold email recruiters using this strategy and you optimize your resume, you will get interviews at big tech companies. I can promise you that. And if you want one-on-one guidance from an entire team of FANG engineers, we've all gotten into Amazon, Google, Meta, Netflix. Click that link below and book a call to speak with us. We're going to see if you're a good fit for our program. And if you don't get a big tech offer by the end of our program, we give you a 100% refund. So we guarantee that you get into big tech. And if you don't pay us a single penny. It's that simple. Click that link below, book a call to speak with us, and we will see if you're a good fit. And I will talk to you soon.